I don't think he would have done, but we'll get back to that later because the screens have just changed, and here he is. We were talking about dreams before, Lewis, but here he is, the Italian dream, Marvin Vettori. Welcome to the show. How are you, my friend? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, man. Can you hear me? Because it's the first time using Zoom, actually.
Yeah, no. We got you loud and clear. So Saturday night, we finished the fights in, where were we? In Jacksonville. And we go back to the hotel. I'm hanging out in the hotel lobby. There's Perillo, there's Mark Coleman, there's a few of us having a good time. And then obviously there's Marvin Vettori as well. And we're chatting away. And on the the Friday after the weigh-ins, I'm queuing up. I'm trying to get coffee in the morning. I'm trying to get coffee, Lewis, and I hear, fucking you son of a bitch. I'm like, I'm sorry, Marvin. I'm sorry. I don't mean, no disrespect. He wasn't doing that. He's like, get that out of my face, sir. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I look around and there's Marvin, and you were not a happy person. And I'm like, we got to get him on the podcast, Lewis, to hear about this. So Marvin, first of all, welcome to the show. Thank you very much. But what was going on, my friend?
Thank you for having me, Mike. And it's a pleasure, actually. But yeah, so the thing was, I actually saw you walking by. I'm like, oh, there's Mike. Let me say hi. And then at the same moment, I'm like, fuck, like he's actually coming down from the elevator because they just told me. So I'm like, I gotta wait for this guy. And well, I mean, what happened was that I wake up day of the fight, and I get a vocal message from my manager that telling me that the fight is off. And man, it's been a crazy 5 months for me where I kept preparing for fights and they kept falling through. So I was like, fuck, man, like it's unbelievable. It's happening again. So this time, the day of the fight, after he missed weight, and I'm like, well, he just missed weight. At least, I mean, it seems like he's fighting. And fight day, man, fight day, you're ready to go. And so hearing that he was pulling out, and then I was like, man, I want to talk to the guy. I want to see why he did that. Why was the reason? What's the real reason? I want to look him in the eyes and ask him why. And so I was eating. Basically, it was around like noon, and my nutritionist calls me and he's like, I saw him because he was walking by to go to some of his athlete room, and he told me, like, I actually just met him and he's probably coming down right now at the lobby. So I just leave whatever I was doing and I went to the elevator. And then that's when I saw you, but I had to keep going and to meet this guy. And he came down, and I started talking to him, and I was like, he was there with his coaches, and I'm like, so what happened? Why did you guys pull out? And he didn't even talk, and his coach started saying like, well, they said a couple of different things. But first he said, oh, the guy fainted, and then we called the UFC medical team. We sent him went to the hospital, and his kidney values were off. And I'm like, I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, man, like the kidney values will be off after a weight cut. Like I think everybody's values of the kidney will be off after a hard weight cut. But so then, but I didn't say that. Then I just basically saw that they were kind of all down. They were all like all upset that the fight didn't happen. And so I was about to walk away, but right before I said, well, Carl, you fucked up, right? And he said, yeah, I did. And then I was about to walk off, and I think his ego got hurt when I made him say that. And I was about half turned around to go, and he looked at me and he's like, oh, but I heard you said I was scared to fight you. And I'm turning around and I'm like, hell yeah, you were scared to fight me. I said you were a broken man yesterday because you didn't make weight. And you're a broken man today. And then he squared up to me and he's like, kind of like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said something like, kind of like he showed like, oh, if you have something to say, we can fight right here, basically, or something. And that's where I flipped off. And I'm like, man, we were supposed to fight in a couple of hours, you piece of shit, and you pulled out. You could have beat me up if you wanted to in the cage in a couple of hours, and now you pulled out, and now we have to do this all over again. So yeah, no, it really sucks, especially as you said, you went to so you were supposed to fight in London, but you never went, right? The fight was cancelled before you traveled. I did go to London.
You traveled to London.
I did.
Oh shit. Oh shit. So that sucks. So you went to London, the fight got cancelled, then you had another fight, and then that gets cancelled because number one, he doesn't make weight, and that's his responsibility. So I understand you being pissed, and then he pulls out the fight. Listen, I get it. And as I say, you were fucking mad. For those people, obviously you guys listening weren't there. You were fucking making some noise in that hotel. The security came over, they grabbed you. I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna kick off. That's why, because I don't see very well, right? My eyesight's terrible. So I didn't know it was you. I'm like, oh fuck, there's a bit of argy-bargy. Let's go and take a look. Let's go and investigate. And as I'm getting closer, I'm like, oh shit, it's Marvin. Fuck that. I'm backing off. That guy's fucking out of his mind. We used to be the same weight class. I'm just trying to get in my coffee. I'm half hungover. I don't want none of Marvin today. I'm just going to back off and go back to the Starbucks. So what have the UFC said? Are they going to rebook the fight?
So they actually rebooked the fight. I was like, man, this guy don't deserve it, because especially, man, what I've been saying is like, he didn't make weight. He had the whole time to make the weight. Now it's a pretty like fine job to do the weight again in a month. And I have a good nutritionist. I know my body, and I'll do it. But it's not gonna be easy. Like because we both cut weight too. He didn't even make weight, and I mean, he was 207. No, not like that. 187.5. So he probably back to 210 at least, and he has to make the weight again. And I'm like, man, I don't care. Even if he missed weight, I'm gonna fight him. But I just want him to be healthy, at least to step into the cage. And that's all. That's what I'm worried about. But I mean, hopefully at least like the PI follows him and stuff, so he can make weight and he can step into the cage. Because if he doesn't, man, it'd be.
So when has that been booked for, though?
13th of June.
Oh, 13th of June. Oh, so not too far away.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he had the whole time to make weight and he didn't make it, now he has 3 weeks and a half. I don't know
and that's going to be at 185. And I'm assuming you got your show money, right, for last weekend?
I got my show money. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you look at the silver lining, you're going to get to, hopefully have a good fight. You get paid then, and you get the extra show money as well. So I know it sucks, but if you try and look at the positives, obviously you've been in the UFC for quite a while now, Marvin. And for those people that don't know, you had a really close fight with Israel Adesanya. I'm assuming that gives you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I mean, the confidence doesn't just come from the fight from Adesanya. It comes from the fact that with that skill set that I had back then, I still was able to put on that fight with him, and on my eyes, won the fight. It was a close fight, but so that's what the confidence comes from. Because with that, without knowing so many things that I know now, I was still able to give him that much trouble. And I know, of course, he probably improved too, but I don't think he improved as much as I did. And yeah, man, I've been in the UFC for a long time, but I had some bad luck a little bit, even with this. I've been out for like 14, 15 months because of that Austrian bullshit that I don't know how it got into my body. And so, man, I didn't have that many fights, but I'm here. I keep improving, and I want to show him, man.
Yeah, it's funny you brought up the Austrian thing, and typically I always had a hard stance on performance enhancing drugs, but I'll give you the benefit of doubt, to be honest, because I always said there's no smoke without fire. But we saw a lot of people. Sean O'Malley was a guy. I don't know if you're aware of that situation. He kind of got fucked over a few times where there was just like really, really tiny trace amounts, and now I think you saw there a change in some of the protocol. I might be wrong on that, but I'm sure I read something recently that they're going to change and not quite be quite as stringent. So yeah, I mean, that must have pissed you off.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, a lot of guys that you wouldn't think that, I mean, that I'm sure this Austrian thing is very weird because, like you said, there's very super small amount. Even Neil Magny got found with these things on his body, and I mean, like Neil Magny, I mean, he would be the last guy that I think he would do something with the performance enhancing drug. So guys like this, but even me, I mean, I'm kind of muscular and stuff, but it don't matter, man. Like, it just every body type is very different. I never did anything in my life, and I thought somebody would come on and told me that it was a prank for like a week or so after that happened, because I'm like, how the hell it did happen. And like I know you had a hard stance on that because a couple of times we had a little funny talk on Twitter. You said something.
We talked a bit of shit back and forth. We talked a bit of shit. That's what I'm saying. When you were going crazy in the hotel and I realized it was you, not that I was being a pussy. I just thought, while you're fired up like that, if you fucking locks eyes with me, Lewis, I don't want to get my ass kicked. I'm going over to the arena just to fucking do the Wayne show, just to talk about fighting. But there's Marvin. He's been fucked over. His opponent's dropped out. He's fucking fuming. And he goes, oh, there's Bisping. That motherfucker's always talking shit online. So I ran off like a pussy. I'm like, fuck this. Nothing to see here.
Because we gotta say, one time Mike did throw some smoke on me, like saying that Israel fight, like trying to talk shit to Israel. He kind of talked bad about me too a little bit. He's like, "Oh, Israel just beat the." What did you say? Something about like.
I have no idea what I said, but I apologize.
Well, here's the thing,
and I said right away, Mike, we leave close, right? We can set up a sparring session.
Hey, let's do it, baby boy. Let's do it. Let's get in the garage. I've got to redeem myself because I'm being nice, so I'm coming across like a pussy. I ain't no fucking pussy, bitch. Lewis, take over quick before me and Marvin get a fucking bout agreement sent by the UFC. Lewis, ask a question quick.
Well, I read that you showed up Saturday night and weighed in at 205 pounds. You were looking for a fight. You actually wanted to get a fight. How close were you to getting an opponent?
No, I was never close, honestly, but I did want to get a 205 opponent if I could. But I weighed in because I was like, if anything falls off at 185, because there were 2 fights, and they're still willing to fight, they should have still accepted the fight with me after, which it's been hard to get a fight lately. I don't know why. We're in the best promotion in the world, and this guy is acting like, I don't know. But so yeah, I was like, if anybody would fall off, then I could be a replacement, and they would have to accept that I would in a 205. But I mean, better than not fighting.
So you trained down at King's MMA with Cordero and that whole team down there. I was always told, because I wanted to go down there a few times at Marvin and spar, right? But then people told me, they said, fuck, be careful going in there, man. They're throwing flying knees, elbows. People are getting fucked up. So Marvin, what is the situation of the sparring at King's?
I mean, it's so low at the end of the day, but we do go hard on Friday morning. But I don't like once a week. I think you should go hard. Like that's.
I agree.
I mean, you should go hard, and I mean we have training partners in common. I know you trained with Strickland before. You trained with Rafael dos Anjos. I mean,
for sure. You have to train.
Once a week, you have to go hard. But like, we're not gonna try to hurt each other, especially if you're teammates for a long time.
No, for sure. Listen, I used to spar hard 3 times a week, but we just made sure we wouldn't use elbows on knees. You know what I mean? They're the things that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the elbows and the knees. I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to get kneed in the face.
Yeah, Verdum is kind of crazy with that. Like, I spar Verdum.
That's the guy I'm talking about. He's the one that's the name I was looking for you to say, because I heard Verdum doesn't fuck about. He knees people in the face and then he cranks on a fucking heel hook and destroys your legs.
No, he's never been a crazy leg locker, but like knees for sure. Knees for sure. You have to force him to put fucking knee pads, and then eventually, at least, like you're like, he's not gonna throw your nose out of the window. But
so, how long you lived in the States now?
3 years.
3 years. You like it? You're here full time?
Yeah, it's good. It's different. It's just I'm here for business, basically. Like I just train, and basically that's it.
What do you miss about Italy? Because obviously we were having a little discussion about this on Saturday night. Obviously, as we know, I'm English, you're Italian. You've been here 3 years. I've been here 10 years now. What do you miss about back home, though?
It's the vibe a little bit in general, but I mean the food, family, friends. I mean it's home back home. It's different. It's like
that's also the Olive Garden commercial you just named.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because I noticed that you're on Twitter. You've been really vocal, sort of criticizing, or I guess, counter criticizing the MMA media that's been criticizing the UFC for putting on shows. I just talk. What do you take of this? Because there's been a lot of people that have been very vocal against the UFC and saying that they're doing something that's dangerous. Just what's your take overall?
Well, I mean, there's so much that has been going on with all the coronavirus talks and all this, and the UFC making events and stuff. But what I'm saying was like, I don't even care, like, if the UFC is right or not to do events. Obviously, from my point of view, which I'm a fighter, I'm happy if they keep doing events. But you cannot agree with me, it's fine. But what I said is like, believe it or not, or like whatever you believe, whatever is your opinion, the UFC is not going to really listen to you. You're still going to do events, and fighters are still going to prepare for fights and for the venues. And I know that, and I kind of saw that every time before like the April shows, like a week before the venue was starting, media start bombing like and being negative on like the UFC making events. And a week out is when they were start. So basically, fighters would get ready. And I know like media don't decide everything, but they do play a role. So it was like, man, if anything falls out, like if any event just falls out again because the media are so negative about it, and then you get like the fighters to prepare all the way till almost a week out, and then somehow the events don't happen again. Who you're gonna really hurt again is the fighters, because they're gonna prepare until then an event doesn't happen anymore. But
well, it's not just the fighters, it's the media themselves as well. I mean, Dana said this in an interview last week, and it was actually a really good point. He said, listen, if all these websites or media companies that they work for, you know, they cover NFL, they cover the NBA, basketball, they cover all these big sports, and they cover MMA as well. They said, who do you think are going to be the first people to get laid off? It's going to be the MMA guys, because the NFL and the NBA are bigger sports. So in essence, I mean, listen, of course, there's challenges and there's risks, of course. And as you know, Marvin, last week, UFC were testing everybody every day. We had to go down every day and have our temperature checked and things like that. So they're doing everything they can. But still, media like to talk shit about the UFC. And I don't know why, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, you know, the UFC took like they decided to do events, they're gonna do them. So they're gonna try to do them all the way. So
yep,
you talking shit can just play a negative role in it. I mean,
I think
and
that
a lot of times they don't even really say facts. They kind of change the story a little bit, so just to make it even look worse. But yeah, I mean, I think the UFC did a good job. Like that, we were getting checked every day, and I mean, everything went pretty smooth. Other than Jacare corner, all the other people were in.
Yeah.
Louis,
you were going to say something?
Well, I was going to say it's just sort of like with most media in general, but even more so with MMA media, because it's such a young. Think about how young MMA is. Now, think about how much younger people that write about MMA is. You know what I'm saying? Like it had to be established as a sport first, and then MMA media sort of came afterwards. And it's sort of built off of these like younger people. It's very clickbaity. Like it's not like real journalists. And I shouldn't say that.
Tread careful, my friend. Tread careful.
There are some, but it's not like these old school journalists who grew up writing for newspapers and actually like. It's most of the MMA media now. They write these short articles. They're very clickbaity, and you want to get people to click on your stuff. And if you talk shit, you know this. You don't got to be a journalist. You can be an MMA fighter. If you talk shit, people are going to talk about you. So when they write these articles, it's just so easy to get people to click on it if they're trying to sort of stir the pot. And I think you're getting more of that than anything else. I don't think they really even care. They just know they're going to get clicks.
Yeah. So Marvin, June 13th is the date. You'll be fighting Carl Roberson again. Where's that going to be? Do you know?
I think it's going to be in Vegas.
Yep. All right, bud. Well, I'm sure you got training to get you and all that good stuff, so we'll let you go. Marvin, thanks for coming on. Much appreciated, my friend, and thanks for listening to my bullshit on Saturday night without punching me in the face, because I don't know if you know this, Lewis, I waffle bullshit a lot of the time. Marvin, you're very generous. Thank you for your generosity today with your time, and yeah, we look forward to the fight on the 13th.
All right, man. Thank you very much, Mike. No, it was actually a pleasure to listen to you. And yeah, man. All right, I'll see you soon.
All right, buddy. Take care, man. Appreciate it.